This specimen in particular has been at the museum since 1884, and it's sort of attracted a bit of an online presence, an online persona, and which some people called sad otter because of the shape of its face. It was made at a time when perhaps the people who were actually doing the taxidermy work perhaps didn't even really have a good grasp of what the living animal perhaps looked like. And so sometimes we have examples of animals where they're being produced, a taxidermy mount is being produced from pictures or from people's information about it. And so it can then take on a bit of a different, perhaps, physical form in the end than what it in reality would have been. So at the time, museums were places where people could come to actually see animals that you would never have any experience of anywhere. So the giant otter is part of a family of animals that don't exist naturally in Australasia. For people who lived in Melbourne at the time, this was like seeing something from a different planet almost. So I think some of the interesting features, people are drawn to its mouth, and I think it's perhaps just the way that perhaps people, when they come and immediately look at it, it does have quite a downturned mouth, but that's sort of natural. The animal actually looks like that. So giant otters have quite a flattened skull and short nose because that helps them when they're swimming. All otters are quite long animals, and so they have this sort of elongated body, short legs. They've also got webbed feet and a flattened tail, so they're really well adapted to swimming. So this otter came from a country called Suriname in South America. So the natural distribution of the giant otter is restricted completely to South America and mainly in the countries towards the north, so around the Amazon. But it's important to keep these specimens for us as it's like a physical evidence of this animal existing in time and also in a particular place. So from a scientific point of view, it's incredibly valuable as an actual animal specimen, but it's also for people when they come to the museum to see specimens like this, it's important for us to recognise that it's an actual animal, that it's part of a continuum of our biodiversity. I guess seeing this specimen is a way for us to remember that we have a role and a responsibility as a species ourselves to look after the other animals in the world and to make sure that it's a place that everyone can live in.